Hello everyone, wanted to bring you another video. I'm Tony. Thank you for tuning back in. Wanted to start off with coronavirus because it's basically what's trending right now. So we have 134,500 cases confirmed infected. We have 4,633 confirmed dead. That sucks. And 67,500 who have successfully recovered. Allegedly, this little note here on the website says this may be highly inaccurate. So hopefully that's not the case. There's something that's a little bit fishy with mainland China. I don't want to be the conspiracy theory guy, but it's stagnated pretty much here. So we've been at 80,000 cases or close to it for the last week or so, maybe 2 weeks now. And that seems a little strange considering that globally it's kind of, exponentially getting worse and worse. Hopefully that's the case, and hopefully it has kind of steeped off there, plateaued, I guess. But there's some conspiracy theories about the World Health Organization and called WHO that there may be some money somehow tied up into this if it does not become a pandemic, a global pandemic. So that's why some people say that the World Health Organization hasn't gone that route. I don't know if it's true or not. I have no idea. I'm just kind of saying what I'm kind of hearing. So it is kind of weird that it's kind of like leveled off, steeped off there. So maybe they're doing an amazing job of quarantining and not doing all that stuff, or maybe there's some weird shenanigans. But yeah, so I want to just kind of give my thoughts on that briefly, and then kind of tune in to the next country. So next is Italy with 10,149, and this is going up fast because just a couple hours ago this was a 9,000 something. So it's fast. So this, I guess it looks like there's more people that have this than not, and it sucks to say, especially for people that are 60 and older, with that any kind of respiratory or autoimmune disorders. I mean, it's not, it affects those people way worse. So right now, the U.S. is the lower of the high risk, I guess, or the high countries, but we're still up there, and it looks like, again, there's only so many of these test kits out there, and if there's only 1,400 people confirmed infected, it's likely 10 times that, in my opinion, because by the time you get diagnosed and whatnot, you've already spread to all these people. So, want to think positively, but it is what it is. So yeah, so now we have 50 confirmed dead because of the coronavirus. 23 of those in Washington. Wait, is that true? 50 confirmed dead and 23 in Washington. And then we have 17 in King County, Washington. I don't know if that's combined or not. I would assume it's not, because to have 50, you have to basically add all these. But we have 2 in California, 2 in Florida, 1 in New Jersey, 1 in, Florida. Yeah, I think somehow they're adding this up in a weird way. But point is, it's spreading. And yeah, I mean, just be careful. Try to stay away from anybody that's sick, obviously. And it's kind of hard to say how to identify it, because it's almost like a common cold or a flu. So, but basically, if anybody's coughing, anybody's kind of doing some kind of any kind of typical sick symptoms, stay away. And okay, with that, let me just move on. So, Market Watch, we have the stocks that have rallied 5%. So the stock market keeps yo-yoing. So it goes down one day 8 points, goes up 5, next day goes up 3, 2, 1, up, down, left, right. it's just all over the place. So oil has rebounded 11%. That's pretty good. That's amazing, actually. So that's a nice little bounce if you were in that well, not even the futures market, just in any oil stock, you could even see that it affected the markets. So that's positive. Let's see if that can hold up. And let me see here. Airlines are slashing tickets. Yeah, this is obviously related to coronavirus, right? Because airlines are slashing tickets. Well, that could be also oil, since the price of oil is now cheaper. Now the fueling for airlines becomes a little bit cheaper. So it all kind of goes hand in hand. But here it says airlines are slashing ticket prices for domestic flights amid the coronavirus outbreak, and prices could stay low into summer. Yeah, yeah, because all of the freaking travel industry is going to get hammered by the coronavirus. Nobody wants to travel because nobody wants to get sick, right? That's the gist of it. So you can expect, in my opinion, some discounts in theme parks, hotels, yeah, um, anything travel really. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if restaurants start throwing uh, specials here and there. Doing, I mean, people are noticeably less less visible. They're going out less. So let me see here. So yeah, I mean that's basically the gist of it. Let's go to Finvis and look at the heat map, the stock map, I guess, and you can see that it's mostly green. Obviously, that is good. And let's see if we still have biotech. Yeah, so the top gainers are going to be biotech for the most part. Oil and gas. Yeah, so oil and gas makes sense on some of these because we had a pump. And but for the most part, you're going to see biotechs and pharmaceuticals and that kind of thing. Shipping, huh, and Bermuda. And so, yeah, so you can see here, if we go to the futures chart for crude oil WTI light sweet, it had that massive gap, and we've rallied the 10%. So let's actually dive into this. So that should be CL. So on the charts here, you can see that we have light sweet crude oil. And if we go, we're on the daily chart here. So we can see that we had that gap that if we measure it here, goes from this low to, I mean, it depends how you want to call it here, but we opened at a 20% loss, and we went as low as a 30% drop, and then we settled at 25% to the close. I mean, that's a major move. And then today's action is basically 12%, give or take. So it's a big change there. So what has changed? And I'm going to try to see if we can find some more news there. But you can see candle-wise, some people may say it's not, but to me it's an engulfing bar. Some people say that an engulfing bar in Japanese candlestick terms, basically the full body of the engulfing bar, which is this white bar here, would have to engulf the entire range. So we're talking about the wicks and the tails. Some other people say that it just has to engulf the body of the previous one. So if we engulf the body of the previous bar, it would be here and here. Oops. There. So obviously this bar engulfs the previous bar, right? So if you go by those standards, then it's an engulfing bar, which means it is a very bullish candlestick pattern, and you would just see upside. So your stop would be right around here, and then you basically ride as you go up, or unless you have a target. If you have a target, it's not a bad idea to take profit at the close of this gap. That would be a pretty massive move in the futures, especially 15%. So Not saying it's going to happen. I think there's a lot of shenanigans going on with Russia and OPEC and Saudis, and there's a lot of things that can kind of make that yo-yo, just like the stock market is. So just trade a plan if you have it. Just be careful. But that is very bullish. So we have to see if this gap closes, and I think eventually it will, unless you get more bad news, and then we can see. I don't know if we'll see. I think I went yesterday into the monthly, and I saw basically the low, basically $10 give or take, was about 1998, give or take 1990. Yeah, like December or so was a low, and I think it was 1065. So you have to go into the 80s to hit single digits. But yeah, we have to see how bad this actually is. So that is light crude. Let's look at the S&P futures. Actually, let me look at oops, page. Let's look at SPY to see where we actually closed. It looks like wait, no, that's let me go to daily. All right. There's a lot of stuff going on there. So yeah, so we had a bullish day today. Obviously, we had a move that was, let's see here. We had a tail all the way down to there, and so it was a overall 5% range, a $15 move up, true range, I guess you could call it. Once again tested the horizontal and the 61.8 here at $274. Just went just a little bit below it. It was at $274.47. But then rallied. So it's again, it's just yo-yoing. But for me, the way I see it, especially on a daily, I'm looking at this ABCD pattern. So I'm looking at this here. So unless we have some very, very good news, I expect for us to hit this target. So we're looking at a target of approximately on the SPY of 261.76, which is nice, basically halfway between that 61.8 and that 78.6 level. So between 274, 275, and 256. That still seems like a relatively good target on the short side. Again, this is just assuming that we continue having the same or more bearish news. But if we have positive news, anything, Russia and the Saudis kiss and make up, the coronavirus isn't as bad. Any good news will probably rally up. Especially like coronavirus and oil. If those two at the same time have great news, then you can see all-time highs again, new all-time highs. If we have no news, then we can just consolidate here, maybe even see a test of this trend line. If we have bad news, for sure we'll test the trend line and likely break it, which will be a little bit worrisome. And yeah, so that's that. Let me just take a look at the futures side of the S&P. So we're looking at the current contract and nearby the front, and then load. Try it one more time. Alrighty, so you can see it's a very similar chart, and I have the same areas generally. Click there. Let's just start cleaning up this. I haven't cleaned up this chart because these lines and these drawings I've drawn for weeks now, and it looks like it's coming to fruition. So yeah, basically the same thing. The ABCD still points down here to a target, which is in confluence with this this Fibonacci trend extension down here at 2600, basically 2592, 2600. So I can expect that to happen. No guarantees. Nobody knows what's going to happen. It's just the market's going to do what's going to do. But you can kind of get an idea by the examples that I gave previously of any bullish news will be great, and we can probably see new all-time highs. Any similar news or more bad news will be testing this trend line or breaking it. And yeah, so that's basically it for that. I saw that Disney, well, everything's going to be, as the market rallies, everything's going to go along with it. So yeah, we see that we had a test down here for Disney. It actually broke that trend line, and we're trying to go back up, but overall it's only at the 38.2. So let me go, actually, are we? Yeah, we're on the daily here. I don't know why it's not, there we go, finally loading. So this is a long-term, this is probably drawn on the weekly. Yeah. So from this swing low, I wonder why it shows that swing low. Let me go to the daily. I'm going to take this off, and then I am going to look for a swing low. So I'm going to probably go for this swing low here. So swing low, and then why not go up here? Actually, we can go to this one and see how that price action ended up playing out. So this swing low to this swing high, we had a break of the 38.2, but a bounce out to 50% level, pretty much, and respected the 200 EMA. So those are very powerful levels and just kept going up. And then we can continue this by just going for the new swing low to the new swing high, which would be down here at the 127.57 range, give or take. And you can see that with all the, coronavirus and all this bad news, we actually broke below the 61.8, briefly tested, we actually did break through for like 2 or 3 days. We broke through the 200 EMA, which is this purple line. And so we gapped below it, opened and closed below it, then gapped up above it, close above, then opened but closed at it or just below. Opened below, gapped above. So you can see that we're playing with that 200. So that 200 is being respected for the most part. And we've had some gaps, and then whoosh, gap down. This was actually this is days ago, huh? So this is before the oil scandal. So where can we expect downside based off on ABCD? It doesn't look very good based off of this. So give or take, if that ABCD is going to be respected, we would see a low of $93.72, or maybe a test of this horizontal that I have down here at $90. Yeah, that's that would be not the best if you were in this long term. But hey, the good news is that Disney is a very strong company, and all of this news is just temporary. So even if the market is down for X amount of weeks, months, who knows, Disney overall is a very strong company. It's like just like saying Coca-Cola. It's like saying American Express for the most part. All these companies, think about Warren Buffett, what he would buy in, right? He's thinking about long term. He's thinking about strong companies that are going to be standing the test of time, and that's basically the stocks that you would want to be into if you're thinking about long term and not worried about these dumps and want to see these dumps as an opportunity to buy in, right? Again, before buying anything, consult a financial advisor. I am not a financial advisor. But you can see that the opportunity would be there. So so at $90, between 90 and 92 would be a decent range to buy in. I mean, we haven't been to those levels since, I guess you can say maybe 95 here. That would be 2017. And then before that, the lowest was basically where that horizontal was was measured from, which was 2016. So wouldn't be a bad place to load up on some Disney if you are, if you do your research, and you're long on Disney. Not a bad idea to look into it. And let's go and see the last, which is Bitcoin, just to get an idea of where that's currently at. And you can see I have a crap ton of lines here. Okay, so we see that we had a smallish rally today, but we're basically still around the same level. So after the dump that happened a couple of days ago, it's been a couple of days going now. I don't know if that's related to, I don't know which one's actually related to. I think it's a combination of coronavirus and maybe the rumor of the oils. But even though people say that crypto and Bitcoin is a safe haven, it's like gold, at the end of the day, people that want to preserve their capital, a lot of people are speculating in Bitcoin. So a lot of those same people are going to be pulling their money out of everything, probably crypto before equities, if you're talking about like the typical institutional smart money. And that explains why with coronavirus and the oil, it's basically dumped as hard as it has. That's my theory. I know that long term, it should act as a safe haven, and you know, it should be kind of like stock market goes down, Bitcoin goes up. But at the moment, it's so correlated with the stock market that, you know, it's obviously the charts are telling you that it's correlated. So yeah, eventually, long term, I don't disagree. I think that Bitcoin will be that. But for now, you have to just see it as what it is, which is just another asset. And yeah, so if we have this ABCD complete, it'll give it a target at this horizontal 7150. If you don't want to be as aggressive with that ABCD, we can go from this point and clone it and go down here, and you can see that we basically met that target. So this ABCD from this high of 10,000, 10,000 down to, so A being 10,000 down to the B of 8,400. You reflect that to where the C is at 9205 down, and then the D is projected down to 7622. This bar from yesterday was a low of 7636. So obviously these are not going to be pinpoint perfect, but come on, I mean, that's pretty good. Pretty good there. So yeah, we have to see if we're still going to get this extension, this bigger ABCD happen. It depends who you talk to. Some people say that, you know, ABCDs are, you know, they go in their ranges. I've seen it work every which way, so it's hard to say which is right or wrong. But we did have one ABCD complete. Now we got to see if this bigger ABCD does get completed. And honestly, I want to say that it does. Unless we have some good news, I just don't see why we don't experience, why we don't have that. We don't really, on the daily at least, we don't really have any bullish diverge. Well, I guess you can argue that this is a bullish divergence because it's not as steep of a drop here. So like if we measure this low to this low, it's nowhere near as steep as, so price action steepness is nowhere near as steep as the RSI. So some people would say that that's divergence in itself. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with it. I just, for me, I like to see it inverted. So I want to see lower lows in price, higher highs, I guess it would be that, like a new highs in RSI. Basically, you want to see something like this, where it starts going against inverse to the to price action. That would, for me, would be massive bullish divergence. So Not saying it's not, but it's not my preferred way to look at it. But it is a positive there if you're a Bitcoin bull. Um, what else do we have here? Yeah, that's basically it. So target is if we continue seeing some bearish news, I think we can see as low as 7150. But we have to take it kind of day by day at this point, and we have to see if it is bullish. I'd like for it to break this resistance at 8240, give or take 8250. If we do break above that, then we are short-term bullish. But for now, there's a lot of bearish news in the landscape. And remember, we have this essentially this bearish formation here. This I don't know how low you want to take this, but we have what is essentially a head and shoulders there. So if you project that there and you basically double that sucker, it gives you a target of this lower horizontal here of 6,340. So yeah, a lot of people I'm sure don't want to see that happen, but it would be a test of these lows. It would actually be a break of this low that happened on December 18th, which was 6,425. We'll see. We'll see. It doesn't, again, it's a zone. Maybe it'll just test that level and rebound off of that. But you just gotta kind of see how it goes day by day. So day by day, if you're bullish, let's see a break, a close above this horizontal here at 8250, give or take. And if you are bearish, your goal, your target right now is at 7150, which is basically just above this this horizontal here. And that wraps it up for today. So thanks for tuning in. Like the video if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't, and share the video with somebody you think may enjoy it. That's it for today. See you tomorrow. Thank you.